Hey, what's up guys? How you doing? It's Jules. These are a little bit different today. We're trying a little different technique. I'm actually downstairs by the computer. Hubby had to, well, it's a long story, but hubby had to create a work environment upstairs to work from home, and so he took my well, it wasn't really mine. He took the crafty desk and put it into another bedroom that could be used as an office. And so he's got that set up for work. So I didn't want to go in there and shoot the video because the main light in there, it would have ended up being like over my shoulder. And I think that it would have, between the camera and whatnot, I think it would have ended up being, lighting would have been a big issue. So I thought, you know what, let me try this down here, because if I could actually shoot videos down here, if I could just make this work, then if this is okay for you guys, this might actually be better for me. It's more comfortable. The chair is more comfortable. I'm actually leaning back, and who knows, maybe we'll get more stitching done this way. Maybe I can do more videos this way, you know? It's going to be a little different for a little while. We've all got to make sacrifices. And I'm not saying that facetiously. I'm just being dramatic. But yeah. So thanks for watching. See you later. No, I was kidding. No, I did not put out a weekly update video this week. There's a lot going on this week, and I hadn't gotten any stitching done, and I was just stressed, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just not going to make a video because I wasn't feeling 100%. Whoa, cameras everywhere. The way this thing is set up, it does put a lot of strain. You like my PJs? It does put a lot of strain on, not strain, it just puts top weight on the light up here. This is my craft light, and so it's my special light, but I'm gonna have to figure out how to keep it kind of not moving around too much. I'll figure it out. It'll be all right. Actually, I could probably put a weight on it. Hold on a second, I'm gonna pause this. Oh, maybe not. Okay, let's get our camera angle back correctly here. I put a weight on the base of the light, and I think that might work. Maybe. We'll see. So, yeah, I forget. It's been a long week, so I forget. I mean, it's been a good week, actually. I took more time off. I theoretically could have put a video out later on Thursday, but again, I wouldn't have had material to really show. And I just didn't want to do that. I'm like, I just don't always need to make a video just to make a video. I mean, I know there's some people that were not happy with me, family included, who some of them did not know I wasn't putting out a video, and I didn't warn them ahead of time, and I got in trouble because I didn't warn them, and which makes perfect sense. What did I do with my skizzers? I had my skizzers. Oh, there's a pair. Yeah, I need to track down that. Oh, I'm just butterfingers. I need to track down that that stitching vest that hubby got for me for Christmas. I need to get that squared away. Oh, it's my glasses. I'm like juggling like 6 different things here right now, but it's all good. Anyway, so whoops, I'm showing the pattern everywhere. Okay, what did I just drop? Oh, the scissors. The other pair of scissors. Oh my goodness gracious, guys. This is just crazy. Anyway, again, we're all having to adjust to new things and doing things differently. So it's just a weird year. But anyway, so what else? What else is going on? So anyway, so that's kind of what's been going on. And we've been working on getting this farm thing together, and then I spent a good day cleaning. Was that Friday? I think it was Friday. Cleaning a bunch of stuff. and I took down a lot of my plants. All right, what? How did this get moved? Did you guys see this get moved? All right. Anyway, I took down a lot of my plants. I had like all these different plants that were everywhere, and I'm gonna put this over here. And so, okay, hold on. I'm just looking to see what I need to stitch. There we go. And I mean, I probably got rid of at least half of my plants, minimum half. Some of them were just small. They weren't doing well. Others needed to be repotted, and I did that. And then I had some big ones that were just sort of, they were all over the place. And they were kind of becoming more of a nuisance than anything. And with the emphasis on the garden, and we're doing our own worm composting, it's like, I want to actually try the challenge of growing certain things indoors where the plants grew. Now, hubby has his whole system setting up. He's got, we got a lot of stuff coming. Let me just tell you that. And I put a couple videos out. No, this is not going to turn into a gardening channel. This is still going to be this channel. There's just going to be a lot of different things on this channel. I don't know. Maybe at some point. No, don't say it, Jules. Don't say it. But no, I don't need to start another channel. I really don't, until I'm no longer working full time, which who knows when that's going to be. But until that day comes, that's not happening. So all the dogs are down here. If you hear any snoring noises, it's the dogs. Just an FYI. Because they can be quite loud sometimes when they start snoring. So anyway, I still haven't had a lot of stitching done. I've been working on Rainy Waterloo. Oh, yeah, by the way, this is Rainy Waterloo Place. 8 minutes into the video. But this is Rainy Waterloo. So I've been working on this one. But I haven't really worked on anything else yet. Hopefully I can relax and be able to do that more. But other things kind of need to be done. So we're focusing on those. Did I tell you guys that my car was found? Did I tell you my car was found? I don't know if I don't think I told you guys that, because so for those you don't know, about 3, 4, it'd be 4, actually I think it's 4 weeks today. 4 weeks ago today my car was stolen. Basically, I was a dope, and I was warming my car up. It was cold morning. I still had little man pup with me, and I like to warm my car up. Part of it is I only have a 5-minute commute, and so I don't like to necessarily what's the word, Jules? Get into a cold car. And sometimes it can be quite frozen. So anyway, so some bad person stole my car, and it was gone for 3 weeks. And the insurance company called me like last Sunday and left me a message, because I'm like, I don't recognize this number. And State Farm. And they called me up and they said, hey, we're going to total your car. It's not been found. We're going to close this up. So just do a couple things for us and we'll get all this squared away. And I was like, all right, let's roll. Because I had actually already picked out my next car. It was sweet. 2009, I think it was a 9, Toyota Corolla. It's a cheap little car, not a lot of miles. Has a cassette tape player in it, people. It was awesome. And I'm not joking. I am not joking. It was cheap, and I was going to buy it, and then I was going to take the rest of the cash and use it in this semi-crisis that we're having right now. But it's not really. We're doing fine. It's not a crisis for us. I'll get to that later. But anyway, so I was like, all right, we're gonna figure this out. No big deal. Blah blah blah. And then overnight, Sunday night to Monday morning, I got a call, got in a voicemail, because why did they call me at 1 o'clock in the morning? But police officer called me at 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey, Julie, guess what? We found your car. Blah, 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 blah. It's going to be here, blah, 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 blah. And so I called them the next day, and they're like, yep, it's at this tow lot. You're going to have to go get it, blah, blah, blah. And so I contacted my insurance company, and they're like, wow, that's crazy, after they had, decided to total it. So they're like, well, sign it over to us, and we'll come and get it. We'll take it to an auto repair's place, and we'll go get it checked out. And I said, okay. And so between work, craziness, and then getting shut down from his perspective of, no crazy movement, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, there's just a lot of stuff going on. And in the end, we couldn't really my husband couldn't go over and check the car out until today, this morning. Thankfully, they were open on a Saturday morning because they've really reduced their hours because of the lockdown and everything that's going on. So anyway, he went and looked at it, and hold on, I'm just checking 1, 2, 3. There we go. And he said, really, he took some pictures. The interior looked pretty good, which is funny because I literally had just sort of cleaned out the car before it got stolen. So usually it's pretty junky because I'm not always the best at keeping my car clean. And but now it wasn't. And so anyway, so it's like, it looks pretty good. But the fuse box underneath the steering column was all ripped out. And I was like, uh-oh. And the one thing that he forgot to look at while he was there, because he grabbed my St. Louis Blues. He didn't grab my license plate holder, the one about I'd rather be cross-stitching. I can get another one if I have to. But anyway, I wanted those St. Louis Blues stuff. And they took all my stuff in the box. They took my manual for my car, and all the paperwork was gone. So it's like, you sillies. And you sillies. And so then but the one thing he didn't do is he didn't check the engine. And not that we would have 100% known what was going on with it, but but if there was things missing, it may be fairly obvious. But we had a spare set of keys we gave them, and they're going to get it all checked out, because that's my one concern with the fuse box being all ripped out, because they had the keys, so it wasn't as if they needed to hotwire the car. And I don't know, when they tow it, they don't do that. I mean, all they do is just put it in neutral, and I suppose you might need to get it in neutral. I mean, I think the gears are locked. I don't know. I'm not a car person. I don't know. But anyway, so who knows? It may be fine, and I may get this car back within a week. And when I do, I'm going to clean the ever-living cleanliness out of it, the ever-living dirtiness out of it, whatever it is. I'm going to clean like I have never cleaned that car before, because people have been in that car, and who knows what they've done in that car. So that's why I've got that little Bissell cleaner, which, by the way, good Lord, I love that thing. It's a little hand carry Bissell carpet cleaner, stain remover. I saw it on this one channel that I watch that is about this guy that does detailing, and so cleaning cars and stuff. And I'm like, that is the coolest little thing. I got to get me one of those. I've yet to actually use it on my car, but I've used it on couches. I've used it on the staircases. I've used it on the kitchen rugs. I've got another shampooer, but I just realized my voice is really doing well. I hope it holds up, because it was gone for a couple of days there as well. But anyway, so, I don't know. But I've used it. It's a great machine. It really is. It's fantastic for smaller areas. So I am going to clean my car like it is never. It's going to be like brand new when I get done with it. So it's coming back. I think it's coming back. We'll see if it's coming back. Which is still just what a weird trip, you know? What a weird trip. So anyway, so got that squared away. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. So yeah. What else do I want to talk about? Talk about more cross-stitching stuff. Could talk about bloggy stuff. Didn't do a lot with the blog this week. Need to get back on top of that. Still doing Pinterest stuff with it. Still trying to promote it through Pinterest. Got a lot of really cool articles that I've had some people write for it that it makes me want to try stuff. Like I want to try the metal stamping. I would love to do that. That's something that I just had an article written about. I'm like, man, I'd love to do that. 3D printing is something that I would love to get into. I've been looking at them lately just because with the whole shortage of the PPE shortage, you know, there's ways you can make N95 similar. They're not specifically N95s, but they're close enough to them that you don't want somebody who is exposed to the virus to wear one, but people who otherwise need to wear one, that they could do so and it would still be safe for them. But anyway, I'd love to figure out how to do 3D printing, but I'm not quite ready for that yet. Not quite ready for yet another hobby. Give me time. Give me time. Give me time. Give me time. I am back to playing video games, though. I'm playing this game called... Oh, shoot. Speaking of which, I better pause this game because I'm just sitting here. And it is June in the game, and I'd better stop playing. Hold on. Pause. Oh, I think it was paused. Good. Whew. Okay. It's called Ostriv. Ostriv? Ostriv. And it's just a village building simulator made by one guy in the Ukraine. And I love games that are just made by one person. That's like Stardew Valley, although I never played a lot of Stardew Valley. But I like builder games. I like games that are, what's the word? Hold on a sec. I gotta get a drink. One person shows. I think those are so cool that somebody can do that. But anyway, it's just like this village simulator. So like you start with a certain number of resources, as you know, people are all living in tents and got a certain number of workers, and you start by building like a forestry center, like a logging. You know, somebody's cutting down wood and making logs and making firewood and different things, and you build people houses, and then you build like docks for fishing, and it's just a lot of things, and there's things that the game lets you do, and it's an alpha, which means that it's very early access, that it's a work in progress. But the cool thing about having a game in alpha, it's good enough to play. And I've probably put in like 50 hours in the last week in this game, I swear. A lot of times I have it running in the background because there's a normal speed, and then there's like a faster speed, and then a super fast speed. And the middle speed is the one that I used to play it on. But now what I'm doing is I put it on the regular speed, which is slow, and it cycles through the seasons. So it cycles January through December from year to year. And when it does that, I know that's going to tangle any minute, isn't it? When it does that, there's certain things that happen, like the crops come in or the water freezes over so you can't fish and whatnot. So what I've found is that if I just put it on normal speed, it's so slow that I can walk away from the game for 15 minutes and come back and make a few adjustments. It takes me 30 seconds and then I walk away for another 15 minutes. But I don't have to be obsessed about playing it. So I really like it. And the guy is constantly putting in updates and expansions. So what I was getting to before was the thing I like about it being an early access game. It's not a finished game. We know that. And it costs $20. And I like being able, for a game that I enjoy and that I've already gotten so many hours of enjoyment out of it, to pay him $20. And if 200 other people paid him that, then that's a lot of money. What is that, $4,000 or whatever? But I'm sure there's a lot more than that because I've heard of people playing this game here and there because it's just a fun game. It's not terribly detailed, and there's not a large amount of things to do right now. Oh, wait a minute. There's a trade guy. Oh, that's the same trade guy. Never mind. And so anyway, so I like it because he gets some money while he's working on it, and it helps him to be able to work on it full time. Maybe hire somebody else at some point if he can afford it. And then I'm gonna highlight off screen here. And then he can continually make improvements and get feedback from people, because there's ways that you can submit comments, you can submit bug reports, and I don't know if I've ever played an early access game that was still that had occasional bugs. I don't know if I've ever played one this much, so I think it's really cool. All right. Let me highlight all this. Use my highlighters. So that I think is cool. I would love one day to be able to do this stuff and play this stuff online. Oh, what am I doing? I threw that paper on the other side of the desk. Crazy person. A crazy person. Here we go. So it would be fun. All right, now this is the point. This is the point where everything starts to fall apart. Oh, got my robe on. Got my blues robe. Let's see. I have definitely reached that stage where my glasses are a necessity. And same color. Kind of same color. Same color. But the glasses are a necessity for this. Either because I'm just tired, or which I shouldn't be that tired. I took 2 tiny little naps this afternoon, which was ridiculous. I was like, I stretch out, and then I fell asleep for, I don't know, half an hour on one nap, and then I was like, I never got to finish stretching out, so I went to stretch out again, fell asleep again. I think it's more because I'm relaxed. It's not because I'm tired. That's the story, and I'm sticking to it like glue. All right. So, put the paper back here. It's a paperback. Alrighty then. Then there. So, let me just make sure I start this correctly. There we go. I missed that one. Let's see. So yeah, I've just been playing some of this game, kind of just emptying my mind, making progress. So I'm not, honestly, I'm really not that stressed about stuff right now. Um, I was, and now I'm not. It's weird. If you guys have been, I'm just gonna mention this shortly. You guys have been watching a couple of my videos. A while back I did talk about what was happening and what could happen, and now that it has happened, I'm just kind of rolling with the punches. I'm working the problem. It's funny, as difficult as this year has been, from a business perspective. The last year, I'd say, year and a half, with us trying to get this whole renovation and everything done, that really kind of prepared me for this, because I'm just like, oh, you got to do this and this and this. Oh, okay, whatever, we'll make it work. It's like it doesn't bother me. It's like I've seen so much, like I've had so many more scarier things happen to the business. Now, I will say this, from a business perspective, we are fortunate that we are considered an essential business as a veterinary hospital. So that's good from a business perspective, that we can stay open. We're on a skeleton staff, so we're about half staffed, and that's why I took a chunk of time off this week. I'm going to take a chunk of time off next week. We're just kind of rotating people back and forth, and so we're just kind of doing it that way and being proactive, keeping people safe. And I was just checking here. And so we, what's the word I'm thinking about? Oh, anyway, so thankfully, it's helped us do well enough that payroll was totally normal. I'm maybe not the best business person in the world, because I will lead with my heart. I mean, my head is there, but I will usually lead with my heart. And although I had been advised to, maybe you should temporarily lay some people off, do this or that, whatnot, I refused, because I'm like, no, these people can still work for me. I can still pay them. I am not going to abandon them at a time when, I can understand restaurants being like, we're going to be closed for over a month. We got to let go of all the waiters and waitresses and bartenders and, the cook staff. I mean, unfortunately, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine working in that industry with the way things are at right now. Or you're not working. I mean, I will say this: the people that are open, we are actually eating out, probably more than we normally do, even though we have groceries. There's especially one of our friends who owns a restaurant, a couple of little mom and pop restaurants. We've been ordering to go from those guys fairly frequently, more than we usually do, just to help them out as much as we can. But we're fortunate in that we are considered, like I said, from a business perspective, to be essential. So it's been pretty busy from unfortunately, a sick animal perspective. So we've been able to maintain a lot that way. As a small business owner, we are looking at the aid package for small businesses, and because I'm like, I don't want to, this is not the time to be reducing, I don't know, pay and whatnot. I mean, fundamentally, this whole thing boils down to, what is your number one priority? Is it the well-being and health of the people that work for you? Or is it, or even your clients, or just people in general? Or is it your business? The business must survive no matter what, and blah, blah, blah. Well, I can do both. And I am doing both, and I will do both. And we'll get through. We've always gotten through. We were, the 2008-9 recession lasted for a couple of years, and I was around for that, and that was pretty rough. This is rougher, but we'll get through. I'm far more concerned with the health and well-being of the people that count on this business for their livelihoods. And I think that's important. And I think that's how my grandparents would have done it. I think about them often. They were farmers, and they were really good people. And sometimes I'll think about, would they approve of this? Would they approve of that? I know they'd be approving of the gardening. I remember when I was a kid, and we would spend our summers on their farm in Indiana. Whoa, why is this? Hold on a second, guys. I think time out. Okay. Sorry, I had to stop it there for a second. I usually at 10 o'clock, my little nightlight goes on, which basically I'm always in bed at that point. And the little nightlight helps to, sorry, I know it's bouncing around a little bit here. The little nightlight, sort of like a reminder to go to bed, and I didn't realize it had turned on, so I don't know if there's going to be a couple minutes there where the light was not very good. Because to me, when I look at my screen, it dims a great deal, so it might have done that to you guys, and I apologize if that's the case. Oh, put my legs up here. Put my legs up right here. Anyway, so my youth, until I got into once I started high school and I was playing sports and in the band and whatnot, and I had to stay at home for summer activities. My whole life, we spent our summers on my grandparents' farm in Indiana. And even when we lived in Georgia and stuff, like my mom would drive us, it was like a 8-hour drive from Georgia to Indiana. And we would drive up and spend, anywhere from like 4 to 6 weeks. It seems like forever now, but it really wasn't that long when we were there. But man, those were just some seriously formative experiences for me. That I'm so glad that I had those. We did learn farming, some, it was beef cattle and corn, and I just messed all this up. Let me figure this out. All right, that's better. Let me cut this so that it's not so off there. And then my grandmother had, both of them, they both together had this huge backyard farm. And they had corn and blackberries, strawberries, potatoes, onions, cucumbers, you name it, and it was enough that it would last them the full year, whatever they got, was for the full year. And so we would sometimes we would be there for the harvest, or I don't think we were ever there for planting. Planting probably would have been in March or April or something, and so we were never there for that. But every once in a while we would somehow be there, in the fall, if there was maybe a late harvest or stuff of some kind, because I can remember at times digging up potatoes, picking strawberries you pick when they get ripe. We did a lot of blackberry picking. I don't know if they planted these around or if they were natural. I really have no clue, but there were little blackberry patches that were on different fences in the fields around us, and we would take, and I never even as I grew older, I didn't like blackberries. When I was a little kid, I loved blackberries, but we would take these plastic ice cream containers. They were a gallon with a plastic handle, and we would go over whatever and pick until we got a whole thing full of them, and then bring them back. And then my grandmother would preserve them and do all that. And is pretty cool. There's one thing I say this, and I still, it's like if I had one regret, if I have one regret in my whole entire life, it's that my grandparents never got to meet my husband. And because they would love him. And so, because he's just the best. But he's so much like them that, you know, it would have been so cool. But anyway, before I start crying. But anyway, so, but yeah, we did all that stuff. And now that's the stuff that Mark and I are doing here. And even though we're more suburbia and whatnot, he used to do a lot of gardening. He really got into it about 3 or 4 years before we met, and he just dove into it and produced like these amazing peppers and tomatoes and all kinds of things. He had a worm composting, and he did the whole thing. So when we've kind of jumped back into it in the last week or two, kind of, full force. We've been talking about it for quite a while. Last summer he built a raised garden bed, although it's really raised. It's like 4 feet up, 4 or 5 feet up in the air. We're going to have to cut that down a little bit, I think, we were just trying to figure out how to keep it away from the dogs. But, built that last year with the intent of using it this year, but still hadn't really taken that jump, that commitment, to say, okay, we're doing it. But with everything going on, it just makes sense. And we also really want to the other thing too is that with everything going on, it sort of highlights for us like where we can improve our lives in terms of being healthier. We have definitely not been as healthy as we need to be, and we need to change that. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. And the other beneficiary of this is the worm compost farm is going to be Groot, my axolotl, because he is normally fed with worms, and now I'm never going to run out of worms for him. There have been times where I'm like, oh man, I got to get some worms for Groot. And there've been a certain number of days have passed without him eating because I couldn't get over to Walmart to do that because I just kept forgetting it. And then, they're fine. I mean, they can go days without eating, but it still made me feel bad. But anyway, so we've got about 50 worms in there so far, and it's going to turn into a really nice little worm farm, basically. It's going to be pretty cool. So we've got the hydroponics. We're going to do the outdoor garden, the raised bed, and microgreens. And I am growing herbs on where my plants are. And then I'm going to actually try, I'm going to try a few other things. And potatoes in bags. Maybe even tomatoes in bags. But we got some used coffee bags, like the really big ones, like the ones like the 40-pound bags or whatever, huge bags. And we've got some seed potatoes. We just need to get more dirt, and we're gonna start doing that. And so that's exciting too. We like it. So it'll be pretty cool. Be pretty cool. But anyway. So yeah, in terms of how difficult things have been, from a business perspective, from just, from the expansion problems, from all these different things, I grew so much from it that everything that's happening right now is just like, okay, roll with the punches. Whoa, as I fall all the way back. Gotta roll with the punches. And that's what we're doing. And the goal is to keep everybody as healthy as possible. So I went ahead and I ordered some stuff from Amazon because I knew I was going to have some time this weekend, and the end of this past week, I'm just highlighting, that's why I'm acting weird, and I knew I was going to have time anyway, so I ordered some materials to make face visors by hand, and there's a whole thing on how to do it. You have to have a certain kind of clear vinyl. You have to have like some foam, some elastic, some tape, some different things. And there's a whole pattern that you cut out and do. And so I was like, oh yeah, I want to do this. I really want to do this. And I ordered everything, and it came in yesterday, and I pulled it out and I started working, and then I realized I ordered the wrong gauge vinyl. I thought I had ordered 14 gauge, but instead I had ordered 4 gauge. And the difference is the higher the gauge, the higher the number, the thicker the material. So what we got was 4 gauge, which is like flimsy, almost like kind of like plastic wrap, but like twice as thick as plastic wrap. So it's just it's not gonna be firm enough to hold a shape. It's gonna be too easy to crumble. So that's not proper. That's not proper material. Now the good news is we're gonna use that for the farming. There's a lot of ways we can use it for the farming. So we got that. So it's not like that was wasted. But thankfully they had the proper gauge vinyl. So I've got that. And hopefully I think that comes middle of next week, early to middle of next week. So I can work on those things at that point, because we're all in this together, people. We got to help each other out, right? And how do we help each other out when we're cross-stitching? Well, cross-stitching right now is a very relaxing activity for a lot of folks. You guys know that I can only cross-stitch when I'm relaxed. And I finally got to this stage today with this. And I've just been going to town on Rainy Waterloo. Come on, Jules. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. Urgh. But anyway, and I was like, I could wait till tomorrow to do the video. Why not just do it tonight? I've had 2 little micro naps today. I clearly don't need to sleep anytime soon. So why not just go ahead and do a video? And I said, that sounds like a great idea. So here I am. Outside of that, I haven't really had time for anything else. I've been playing the video game way too much. Cleaning. Hold on a second. Researching. Oh yeah, I've been watching a lot of gardening videos. Let me pull this down here. Watching a lot of gardening videos. Those are fun. I mean, now that I'm actually like very interested in it, that's why it's fun. It probably wouldn't have been fun before, but there's a lot of interesting people out there that garden. And it's so funny because there's also there are people that are like, this is the only way this works. It doesn't work any other way. You've got to do it this way, and that's it. And there's other people like, you can do it this way, that way, blah, 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 blah. And it's just funny. And the people that really inspire me are the ones that basically like are just cramming it into whatever area of their yard they have. You know, they're not really doing anything terribly expansive. They're just making do with what they have, and I think that's awesome. It's fantastic. Because that's kind of how we're doing this. So it's a good thing. But anyway, so watching a lot of those. Keeping up with current events. Blah, blah, blah. I was going to start an audiobook today, and I totally forgot to pick one. Did I not do that stitch there? No, it doesn't look like a good stitch, but it's okay. I was going to do an audiobook, but between Goodreads and Scribd on my phone, I was going to narrow it down. And then, and then Overdrive. I went to pull up Overdrive, and the sad thing was on Overdrive that it didn't have my account information saved like it always has. It's like it reset or something, and it just didn't have it in there. I was like, shoot, I don't have my library card anymore, because that was on my key ring. That my little tiny little card was on my key ring, and I don't have that anymore. So, that's right, I don't have my King Soopers card anymore either. Oh, first world problems. And so, anyway, I had coming way. Should I come way over here? Is that what I need to do? Hold on. Stand by. Standing by. No. Go back over here. But what's the word I was going to say? What was I talking about? I started thinking about the blues, St. Louis blues, all of a sudden. My trip to St. Louis. I don't remember why. What was I talking about? Gardening. Videos. Getting closer. Videos. Current event videos. Current event videos. Current event videos. Oh, shoot. It's just gone. Oh, books. Oh, Overdrive. Phew. I knew I'd get it eventually. Anyway, but all they asked me for was an email. They're like, hey, you can just sign up with your phone number or email or something like that. And so I did, to get a new so-called new card, and now that's how I'm in the system. Like, oh my gosh, it's so easy. Thank you so much. And I don't have to go into the I can't go into the library right now to get a library card. Maybe that's why they changed it. But I need to see if that's how it is for Denver, because I was part of the Denver Public Library, which has a much larger selection than my local county. And but they basically, unless I prove that I was that I actually lived in the county of Denver, which I don't, I could no longer get books. That was sad, because some audiobooks are hard to come by. They're not everybody has the same audiobooks. So anyway, I gotta see if I can get into other places. So if you want to read books online, if you want to download audiobooks, Overdrive, free app. And maybe it's even easier now to get on. We'll see. But that would be cool. That would be cool. Cool. Oh, my legs are starting to go to sleep on me. Oh. I'm probably going to call it a night after this little bit here. But anyway, so that is what's going on there. I will not stitch anymore on this project after tonight. I think I will move on to something else. I need to follow up a couple things, but anyway, I'm not gonna go into those right now. But anyway, so I've been keeping myself busy. I sound a lot better. I feel better than I did. Look at that. Here, let's take this off. Uh-oh. Took it right off. Hello. Let's put that back on. Oops. Dope. 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 I knew better than that. I knew better than that. Cool, man. Sweet. It's awesome. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Again, I'm sorry I didn't do a video the other night, but I hope this helps to make up for it a little bit, plus a couple of little garden videos. And yeah, I think we need to get back into the cross-stitching small business videos and whatnot, especially right now. I think that as much as we can support small business, we should. So I'm going to start doing some of those. You guys have a great weekend, and I hope you're safe and healthy, and I hope those that you love are safe and healthy. And I will see you very soon. Take care.